Every route in Hoenn is packed with Pokemon, but I'm not allowed to use 99% of them. For this Hardcore Nuzlocke, I can only catch the rarest Pokemon. Every encounter is a gamble, and every catch could take hours. And if one of these rare Pokemon faints, it is gone forever. Does rare equal powerful? Or will I waste hours of my life finding pure fodder? The rules for this run are pretty simple. Waste hours of my time running around, catch only the rarest of Pokemon, and win. Anything less is failure. Obviously the starter seems rare, and canonically they are, but they do not fit the criteria here. So I pick the best Hoenn starter, and after running around for ages, and I mean ages, I think our first viable encounter can't spawn until you do the segment with Wally. So after we do that, we meet our dad and we run around some more, and eventually we encounter a Ralts, and it's a male one. I carefully whittle it down and thankfully we catch it. We box our starter, and now the run officially begins. And the encounters come thick and fast. A Taillow is the next one found just before the forest, and then within the forest we find a Slackoth. We do end up failing the Skitty, but honestly I will not lose any sleep over it. These two new additions will be incredible for the team. And the first gym is upon us, and look at the team. Rock isn't exactly our best matchup, so I will have to get creative, and I do. And this is a certified masterclass. I begin by using our Sleepy Sloth to put their lead Geodude to sleep, and then Ralts can easily bring it down due to its less than mediocre special defense. Roxanne's Ace Nosepass is a different story though, as it is bulky and has decent special defense, so we do have to get creative. Ralts is too frail and our bird doesn't stand a chance, so I use Slackoth again, and with Yawn to put them asleep, Slackoth to keep us healthy, and Faint Attack for chip damage, we can eventually take down the rock type, and this took so long. But hey, that's not new to us this run, that is the first gym badge. We have our first run-in with Team Magma in Rust Earth Tunnel, but as they use Dark types at this stage, Ralts with the Summon Voice makes light work out of their poochers, and with Mr. Briny reunited with his bird, he takes us on a trip to Dewford Town. And after picking up a super ultra mega rare never seen before Geodude, we take on the second gym, and this is a much more simple one. We have a bird, and that bird has Wing Attack. Machop survives one and does a fair chunk before falling, and we just straight Oko his ace. Hell yeah. We then meet the world's most loved Nepo baby Stephen Stone and give him his dad's gift, and then we head onwards, and just before the infamous rival battle below the cycling road, we can pick up an Electrode, and this mon is certainly well rounded, especially when it gets rolling.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Our Sloth also evolves, but it is our new addition who shines against May. We breeze past her water type thanks to our stab moves and our static ability, and then Taillow can come in and destroy her Shroomish and her starter with stab super effective Wing Attack. But we aren't done there. We can round out our party at a full 6 mons by picking up a Surskit just west of Morville City, and if you've seen any of my Alola runs, you know how annoyingly good this mon can be. And then I decide why not. The final upgrade available to us is our starter Ralts. Due to the level cap, we can evolve it into a Curlier, but I decide, let's go all the way. So I grind at the Inverse Battle House, and we can eventually get a Dawnstone so it can reach its final form, the awesome Garlade. And what's in the next gym leader was another simple one, thankfully. 2 of his mons are 4 times weak to ground, so Geodude earned its keep this battle. His final one, Electrode, can't really touch Geodude either, so it's not quite a sweep, but it's not exactly rocket science. And then the next segment of the game is crucial for our team and the future of it. Taillow evolves into the speedster that is Swellow, and Surskit evolves into the underrated Masquerain. In Fiery Path, it's a toss-up between Coughing and Grimer appeared, which is okay I guess, they're both kinda mid. But the real kick in the nads was Skarmory. I forgot to buy Pokeballs, and it didn't want to stay in the 5 Great Balls I had. That will have real implications on the run. You heard it here first. Atop Mount Chimney we take on Maxie, and this was not brilliant in the slightest. Once his dog had been taken down, I bring in Masquerain against Camerupt on an Earth Power, and then a quad effective Bubble Beam only does half as we get smashed by a crit Lava Plume that OHKOs our bug. Thankfully Garle can take out the rest of his team, but man, that is so annoying. The only silver lining is that Geodude evolves at the end of the battle, so we trade it with a friend to get a beastly golem as we need it, and it goes completely in against Flannery. It was a bloodbath. A mudbath, if you will, because all I did was press bulldoze over and over, and we eventually won. We head back with our rival for the family reunion, and on paper our dad is so tough. 2 slackings with a combined base stat total of 1,340. But Pokemon battles are not fought on paper. I lead Golem for 2 reasons here. We are defensively bulky, and we can set up Sandstorm and Stealth Rocks. We bring them low, and as we are put to sleep by a yawn, they heal up. We bring them low again, and as we get yawned, I decide to switch instead, and Electro can pick up the KO with a Charge Beam, and we get the boost. Vigoroth is out, and a +1 Charge Beam does over half, but we get no boost as we get Encored, so after getting the KO, his other slacking is out. And I don't want to get destroyed here by literally anything it has, and I can't Volt Switch out, so I hard switch into Golem on a Retaliate that brings us super low. While they are loafing around, I fire off a Bulldoze for some decent chip before switching back into Electrode on a feint attack, and due to the Truant turn, I can Charge Beam and get the boost, and then outspeed and get the KO with an Electro Ball, proving that I am the greatest Pokemon trainer in the family. We then jet off with the Nepo baby to the mysterious island, where we scare off Team Magma's B team before getting probably the easiest legendary encounter ever, but it is definitely the most powerful HN Mon available. Anyway, back on mainland, we head north and pick up a Kecleon, which, if it's anything like it is in Mystery Dungeon, it is the most powerful Pokemon of all time. We then redeem ourselves against a Camerupt by straight OHKOing with a crit Psycho Cut, and then Garlade carries on its crusade by sweeping May's entire team, OHKOing every one of her Mons. Absolute cinema. And historically I have had major struggles with Winona, the upcoming gym leader, but this was not one of those times. Golem sets up Stealth Rock before we bring in Electro to KO the Swellow, but we get bought below half. Altaria is out, and as we are at +2 special attack, a Volt Switch does massive damage as we switch into Golem on a soft Earthquake. And then our Rock can take them down the next turn. Pelipper is out next, and I obviously switch and bring our Electric type in on a Water Pulse, and then we outspeed, and I decide to go for a Volt Switch, which means we can get our new Gecko out against the final Mon, Skarmory. And we just simply press Rock Tomb over and over until it falls, claiming our sick badge. Now that the map and the level cap have both been expanded, we have some errands to run, but not before evolving our Grimer into a Muck. But I'll be honest, when I come up against one of these, they are so difficult to shift. But mine just seemed shit. Look, I know that Earth Power is super effective, and we miss our Gunk Shot, but still, this isn't the only example. But we have one last thing to sort at Mount High's peak, as we can get the rarest, most powerful Pokemon ever, Chimecho. Yeah, said no one ever. We then witness Grand Theft Submarine and chase Team Magma to their secret hideout, where they have pimped their ride, and my god, it looks so sick. Unfortunately, they run off yet again before we can take it for a spin, leaving us to just carry on with the story. Our Vigoroth takes its final form before we face down against the Psychic Twins, and I lead Golem and Electrode, and we fire off a discharge that gets no paras, and a Heavy Slam brings Solrock low as they absorb the light for a Solar Beam. I decide to risk it, and a discharge gets the para, but they survive and outspeed Golem, and fire off the 120 base power quad effective move for the Oko. Their Lunatone keeps loading up on Calm Minds, which can be scary, especially as they heal up the Soul Rock, but Kecleon with Shadow Claw and Absol with Sucker Punch can easily take them down. Losing Golem was so unfortunate and avoidable. I decide that we need a new Rock-type tank for the team, and I get to use a mon that I have never used before, Relicanth. This mon is known for being super rare, but its stats are decent and its typing isn't bad at all, so I'm happy to use this fiche. And I decide to get our final encounter now. The tide is low, so I can enter the deepest section of Shoal Cave and encounter a Snorunt. Unfortunately, this one is a male, so Glalie will have to do. And now we have some reinforcements. We give chase to the evil team and find their submarine in the depths beneath the waves, and after navigating the labyrinth, we come face to face with Maxi as he plots to awaken the legendary Groudon. And obviously we can't let that happen, so we lead Swellow against his Dark Puppy, and we can take them down with a Fly Quick Attack combo without taking a single point of damage. His Weezing is out next, and I decide to stay in, and we get poisoned, which is kind of good because Guts, which helps us get the KO, but we are brought too low by poison, so when Crobat comes out, I bring in our Relicanth for his debut, and we get poisoned too. We can rest up to heal it off and stay healthy and get the KO, leaving only his Camerupt, which immediately Mega Evolves into the beastly Mega Camerupt. But we go for a dive, and even though they get up to +1 defense with a curse, a stab quad effective move gets the Oko, defeating Team Magma. But as he is a sore loser, he unleashes the legendary anyway, and due to the rampage of the monster, the region is canvassed with excruciating sun. Hey, wait a minute. As we enter the Cave of Origin, you may have noticed we have 5 mons. Well, I can't be asked to teach Relicanth Surf as it's a physical attacker, so I use Gyarados, who is a really underrated HM mon, but it does mean that the upcoming fight, we are a man down. Anyway, we ride Groudon to the deepest portion of the cave where it undergoes Primal Reversion and then attacks us. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but this thing is unreal. Much like Primal Kyogre, this is a true endgame boss. The stats, the ability, the moves, all of it. I lead Slacking and we take half from their signature move before doing a fair chunk with an Earthquake. I decide to let our Sloth fall so I can just get as much damage off as possible, which is funny as I bring in Kecleon, who just gets outsped and one-shot. Muck also gets Oko by a super effective Precipice Blades. I honestly have no clue why I did that. Absol can at least get some damage off with a Sucker Punch before falling, and now I am down to my last mon already, and it's Chimecho. But this thing has Levitate, and the AI just wants to use ground moves, so I can safely bring it down with an extra sensory, meaning the region is saved, and it rains glitter across the second most beautiful Pokemon region. But back in the here and now, I have 6 mons left to do the final gym, the Elite Four, and the Champion. But it is not the final gym that I'm worried about here. Garlade has Sword Stance and Leaf Blade. Love Disc was annoying to set up against with Attract and Confusion, but we just break through and we can pull off a sweep with our Swordsman, claiming the final badge of the run. And after making our way through a classic maze of a victory road, we face down against rival number 2 for the final time, and his team is decent, but it's that darn Mega Garlade we need to look out for. Well, we would need to be careful if it wasn't for our own Garlade. We simply set up a couple of Swords Dancers and then sweep his entire team. And when his starter, that little baby Ralts that's all grown up, Mega Evolves, due to the higher level and the natural EVs picked up from the journey, we can just outspeed and Oko his behemoth, defeating the final trainer before we emerge at the Pokemon League. And there is no team to build, so I pray to Arceus and head on inside. And first up in the gauntlet is Sydney and his Dark types, but like many battles before, Garlade is the key. We set up yet again and we sweep, this time with X-Scissor. And with the Shell Bell we can get reliable recovery, which is the perfect item for sweeps like this. That's the first Elite Four down. Phoebe is next up, and this is slightly less simple. I lead Electrode against her Dusclops and her Charge Beam does little as we get the boost and Confused. We break through Confusion and bring them below half before getting another boost, and they self-KO with Curse. Sableye is out next, and due to the Curse chip, I Volt Switch which gets the Oko, and we switch into Relicanth as Dusclops comes out. I switch back into Electrode fearing the Thunder Punch, and we can win the 1v1, but we do get brought low in the process. Banette is her next one, and I Volt Switch out which brings it into the red, and Relicanth comes in on a Shadow Ball. We take down the first one, and then her second one burns us, so I switch into our pre-poisoned Swellow, and a Brave Bird demolishes her final ghost. Glacier and her Ice types are up next, and I lead Relicanth against her Glalie. They set up the hail as I go for a head smash that just straight Okos. Walrein is out, and this thing is so bulky. We miss a head smash and get brought below half by Surf and Hail Chip, so I rest up. We get brought below half again. I risk it, and we don't wake up, and we survive on 1 HP. Holy, that is so close. I bring in our electric type as the hail stops and a Volt Switch does just over half, and I pivot into Chimecho who gets frozen on the switch. Because of course it does. I go into Garlade, and due to our naturally high special defense, I can set up a Sword Stance to guarantee the KO on all of her other mons, defeating the Ice Specialist. Maybe I should have just led with Garlade, but I just wanted to mix things up. Drake the Dragon Master is the final member of the Elite Four, and I tried to be fancy by leading with our Guts boosted Swellow, and it works as we get the straight Oko with a Brave Bird. His Kingdra is out next, and we know how good this thing can be. I switch into Chimecho on an Ice Beam which does little, and the next turn we get yawned as I Calm Mind. I Calm Mind again before falling asleep, which is a risk, and it pays off as we wake up at +2 special attack. But a Stab Psychic doesn't even KO the dragon. Holy, it is so bulky. So our Wind Chime falls to a Surf. I bring Swellow back in as they heal up, and we fire up a Brave Bird which gets a crit and Okos, and we survive the poison and recoil on 19 HP. Flygon is out, and we manage to get Glalie in safely to take down both of them with a couple of Frost Breaths, so his final mon is his Ace Salamence. But it is a simple switch into Relicanth and a head smash for the Oko and the victory. The champion, the Nepo baby, is the final trainer standing between us and our goal, but man oh man, it's not looking good. His party is insane and we only have 5 mons. I just have to try my best. Steven leads with Skarmory and sets up entry hazards as I Charge Beam with Electrode, getting the boost. I fire off another which KOs the bird and gets us up to +2. Aggron comes out, and this thing has Sturdy, so I Volt Switch to break it and go into our bird on the Earthquake. Knowing they will heal up, I switch back out and bring Garlade in. For some reason I fire off a close combat to bring it back to Sturdy, which lowers our defense, but we can survive the incoming Iron Tail, so the next turn we can take it down. Claydol comes out, and I go into our bird, and we do massive damage with the Brave Bird, but they set up Reflect, so I try to stall out the turns with Roost, but they get a lucky crit, and our Swellow falls. Grayley can come in and get the KO after setting up Hail for some Ice Body recovery. Cradilly is out next, and a Frost Breath does big damage, bringing them below half, so we can take it down, only taking an Ancient Power in the process. Armaldo the other fossil is out next, and I can't switch anything in at this point. Frost Breath does little due to shell armor, but we survive the incoming X's on just 4 HP, so we can get a little bit more chip damage, bringing them below half before falling. I take it down with Electrode, but don't get a boost from 2 Charge Beams, meaning this is near impossible to win, as I face down against the coolest Mega Metagross. We still outspeed, but unfortunately with no paralysis on a discharge and no static paralysis, they just KO us with a Meteor Mash. Relicanth comes in and survives a Meteor Mash as they get the attack boost, and then our dive does so little, and just to rub salt in the wound, they get another attack boost, so Garlade just gets destroyed by a Bullet Punch, meaning we fall at the final hurdle. This run was awesome. Man, those encounters took so long to get, but using some mons for the first time like Relicanth and Garlade has given me a newfound respect for them. but I'm not completely sure if rare equals powerful in this case. I thank all of you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more wacky Pokemon challenges. And if you have anything to add or a run to suggest, let me know down below. But with all that said, stay classy and have a wonderful, wonderful day.